Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to the GrianaigCreations podcast channel. My name is Kirsty, my pronouns are they, them, and I am coming to you from Paisley in Scotland. So, got something a bit different for you. I know a lot of, you're probably seeing a lot of videos come up from your favourite podcasters right now with people going over what to knit with your advent calendars given the time of year, and also just some really good gift knits given the time of year as well. I have decided that there's a lot of videos where people do a really good display of those items, and adding to that list is just I couldn't do any better than what's already out there. And also, I have my advent project in mind. I'm actually going to use my advent calendar this year instead of just opening it and storing the yarn. And so I have decided, I don't know how much you can see here, I have decided to do a slightly different video. I'm going to do a video on all the items I'm going to frog. That's right, I am ripping these suckers back. I will be repurposing the yarn and going to be giving new life to these projects and to the yarn. And to preface all of that, I would like to say that it's got nothing to do with the designers at all. It's got nothing to do with the yarn dyers as well, because some of these are indie dyed yarns. The reason I'm going to be looking to frog these is because me, human error. I have either knit them far too big, just on the snug side, or I just don't use these items. And so I have decided that I'm sick of them just sitting there, maybe one day getting worn, and it's time to do something. It's time to be proactive about it instead of them just sitting in a cupboard somewhere and like just sitting there. Don't know how else to put that. But on the top of this video, I would like to say that I am actually wearing something that's just been sitting for a while. This is my worsted weight boxy by Hohi Locatelli. Don't quote me on that one, that could be wrong. I think it is. And for the longest time I didn't wear this because of the yarn. This is the majority of the yarn is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, and for the longest time I felt like I couldn't wear this yarn as it irritated my skin. Whether you want to call that scratchy or itchy, that's up to you. But it turns out I did have a little skin condition going on that the doctor diagnosed, and I've had cream for it and it seems to be absolutely all good now. It was mostly like on my upper back, and I seem to be absolutely fine wearing this now. So the boxy is out of hibernation and it is being worn, and I am really thoroughly enjoying having this on. It's so warm and cozy, like I can feel how warm I am. So it's always good to get your knits out and have a real good think and be like, am I going to wear it? If not, can you gift it to somebody else? And for most of these projects, no, I wouldn't be able to gift these to someone else. And as they are just now, I'm not going to wear them or use them. So I'm not going to go through them in any particular order. It's literally just what I pick up. I also have my iPad here, which has all the details so that I can give the correct pattern names and the designers. And again, I just want to repeat, it's got nothing to do with either of the designers or the dyers. It's completely my error that is causing me to frog these. So, off the top of the pile is this shawl. I knit this shawl a long time ago. This is the Bad Nut Shawl by Josh Rybinski, and I knit this in Martin's Lab in a DK yarn. This yarn bled real bad, I'm not gonna lie. This yarn did bleed really bad, and I haven't set it since. But also I think just this shawl in general, I'm not the biggest fan of the shape of it after all, and I have not worn it. I feel like I would need to do some Fandango blocking to really get this to a shape that I quite like, so that I could wear it with ease. And I think just everything combined between the overall shape of the shawl and the colour of yarn, it's just not worked very well together. It looks very, very busy. Like, I know I'm sitting a distance away from the screen, but I don't know if you can even see that there is difference. There's a different texture throughout the shawl. There's a mixture between garter and stockinette, and then there's also some eyelets. I love the yarn, and I still love the shawl design. I just don't like these two combined. So this one is going to get frogged, and it's a good thing I never wove in my ends, because it's going to make frogging this a lot easier. So that's our first one. I'm just going to throw them off screen because it's so much easier, so I'm just going to go wee. That's going onto my other sofa. So I'm going to close that window down now that I've talked about it. The next one, now this is 100% my fault, but it's still, I'm very sad about. I'm gonna block this. I'm gonna frog this one. This is the Summer Court Tank by Dragon Horde Designs, which is Tristan, and this was knit using Flail Snail by Chromatic Yarns, and I seriously aggressively blocked this when I was finished, and because of that it's now just not for me. I can't wear it. It's about 3 to 4 inches too big, too baggy, and for a tank top with a low cut V, I'm just not comfortable wearing it because I feel like I'm going to flash somebody. And so for that reason it needs to be frogged, and I need to knit it smaller. I could maybe try to reblock it, and instead of aggressively blocking it that widthwise, blocking it lengthwise, but that would be a lot of experimenting when I could just rip it back and knit it 2 or 3 sizes, probably 2 sizes smaller. I would need to look at the pattern again. So yeah, unfortunately this one's also in the frogging pile, and again, probably really good that I didn't weave in my ends. I'm really, really bad at that. Unless I am really, really comfortable with something when it's finished, or I really want to wear it out and I can't get away with tucking it in the ends, it seems like I'm not weaving stuff in. And you'll see that in a couple more of the projects. Maybe one more. So unfortunately the Summer Court Tank is going to have to be frogged as well. Let's close that one down as well on my phone. Okay, so this one's a biggie. I'm going to be frogging my Humulus. This is a pattern by Isabel Kramer, and this was probably one of my first colour work projects, and it really does pain me to have to say that this is going in the frogging pile. One of the reasons is this. Do you see that huge difference in colour? Right there. You can't miss it. There's a huge colour difference between these skeins. And that is because I thought I had enough yarn. And I didn't. I really, really didn't. I would have if I was going for a crop, but at that point I really didn't want a cropped sweater. I wanted a full length one. I also didn't have enough to do the sleeves. And so I had to order another ball of yarn online. And of course, it was a huge difference in dye lot. So that is one of the reasons, like, this has not sat well with me. I thought it was going to be okay. I thought I had accepted it, but in reality I'm not okay with that huge stark difference. And then the other reason I'm going to be frogging this is, again, it's a size thing. I think I have some sort of warped sense of what size I am, because I used to be a lot heavier. I used to weigh 21 stone, and I lost a lot of weight through my Crohn's and through actually trying to lose weight. And I have, at most, I've lost 6 stone, and I've put on a couple. So I've put on 1. So I've lost 5 stone since, and I don't think I ever really shifted my frame of mind to being that bigger person. And because of that, I could get another set of boobs on the back. So it seems okay on the front, but on the back it's really, really baggy. So I think I would need to go down a size or 2. And then what I also need to get more comfortable with is bringing stitches from the back round onto the to the front, like, so shifting the sleeves back a wee bit on each side and having more stitches on the front than I do on the back. And it's such a shame because this is really, it's really gorgeous, and it was my first colour work sweater, and it's so squishy and warm, but I don't wear it. I've nearly been in this flat 2 years, and this has been in a bag in my wool cupboard. So it's gonna happen, it's gonna get frogged, and hopefully I will get the size right this time. I didn't do a gauge swatch when I knit this, but I actually really like the gauge it is. So it was knit on a 3.75 and a 4. So I think I'm going to do the 4 again, but I'm going to take the gauge before I rip it back and hopefully try and recreate the exact same gauge. But yeah, I am disappointed that this one needs to get frogged, but it's so baggy in the back, it's unbelievable. So I definitely need to go down a size or 2, and I'm gonna hopefully, from what yarn I save on the body, I'm hoping to at least get slightly longer sleeves, because these ones sit just at the crease of my arm. I would like maybe like 3/4 length sleeves. But yeah, that's the reason why I'm going to frog this one, and I'm afraid I don't know the yarn off the top of my head. I have more of this brand upstairs in my yarn stash, but not these colours. But I did use some of the leftovers to make pumpkins. So the orange, I had a lot more of the orange left over. Then obviously I did the green. I only got 1 ball of the orange, and I got 2. At the time of purchasing the yarn, I got 2 of the green, 1 of the orange, and then I had to buy another green. So what was left over made some really cute pumpkins. Okay, so next up we have the As If Tea by Shay Johnson. And this is a lovely pattern. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed knitting this, but I underestimated my size. And there are several things I would change. I've bound off too tight. I have not put a stretchy enough bind off on the neck, so it's quite tight going over my head. Exactly the same when it comes to the sleeves. I have very large forearms, like that part. I've got big bingo wings. And because it sits quite close up, like very straight down there, it just feels very restrictive in the armpit area. So I would definitely knit a size or 2 bigger as well. Like, I have plenty of yarn. I still have tons of this yarn, the main colour left over, and I'm pretty sure I still have some of the mohair, but I would maybe change this up to, because it's mohair held double, I would maybe change this up to just a neutral 4-ply, because mohair and we don't have a good history. I find it very itchy. I'm not the biggest fan. I don't know why I knit with it. I think I bought it when I thought mohair was okay, and then I actually wore it in my first rendition of the Love Note, and that's when I was like, oh, I don't like it. Nope, not for me. So I definitely want to completely frog this and re-knit it at least 2 sizes bigger. And again, I will probably just get rid of the mohair completely. I would like a much looser neckline, because if I'm going to put sizes bigger, it also means the neckline should be bigger, and then I would definitely do the surprisingly stretchy bind off or similar, because it's too tight, absolutely too tight. But I have plenty of this yarn, and I think I could make it longer as well, but just bigger, overall bigger. So unfortunately the As FT is going to get frogged as well. Okay, I have 2 more, and we'll go with a shawl, another shawl. So this is the Nurmalintu shawl by Heidi Alander. I knit this ages ago, and oh, I got a big yarn snag as well. Don't know when that happened. I've woven the ends on this one. I don't know when that happened, but apparently I've woven the ends. That should be easy enough to undo. But I don't know if it's the colour of the yarn or what. It's also just very small. For me, this is a small shawl. And I like bigger shawls. Like, don't get me wrong, like, small shawls have their time and their place. Like, these are, smaller ones are much better in summer. Like, especially into the evenings when it gets just a little bit chilly. But considering I knit this several years ago, I don't think I've ever worn it. I don't know where I got the yarn from. I don't know if it was gifted to me or something, but this isn't really my colour either. So I think I will frog this one and then just sit on the yarn for a while and just think about what project it could go into, because again, it's just not my colour. So unless somebody wants this shawl, albeit there's a big snag at the bottom, I don't know what that's got caught on, but it's got caught on something, and it's caused quite a snag in the yarn. So unless somebody wants this or wants the yarn, leave it in the comments if you do. This is going to get frogged, but I'm probably just going to have this yarn sitting in my yarn stash for a while until I decide what to make with it. Okay, last but by no means least, and I know I have been, you can enjoy my spotty, polka dotty, spotty, fuzzy trousers. I really wanted to make this cardigan, and I'm on the fence about whether or not I'm going to frog it, to be completely honest. I need to wear it for a wee while to see what I think. It's in the same yarn that I'm wearing just now, which is the Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, and it was when I thought I couldn't wear this yarn. Hand squish, absolutely fine, but when I had it on my skin on my back, that's when I had a severe issue with the yarn. So this is the Miette. Now again, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, which is an Andy Satterland pattern. Now I used the pattern that was free It was a free pattern for the longest time, and when it was a free pattern, there was only 3 sizes available. It was not a very size inclusive pattern originally. But it turns out, even though it was apparently marked as retired, you can get the Miette on Andy Satterlund's website, and it is now more size inclusive. So I think instead of it being under Andy Satterlund, it is now under Untangling Knots. That could be wrong. I'm just trying to, yeah, Untangling Knots, and that takes you to a website instead of Ravelry. Oh, it's taking a long time. So, instead of it being 3 sizes, oh, my internet is just being so slow. Cardigans. Wow, she has a lot of patterns. I can't find the Miette through this. That one, that's the Miette. No, that's Crumb. Crumb looks very much like Miette. So this is now available in 7 sizes instead. So it goes from a 29-inch bust to a 53-inch bust on the new website, whereas before it was only available in a 34 to a 42. So the version I used, the maximum was a 42, and I am not a 42-inch bust. And so I kind of fandangled it a little bit. I didn't do a gauge swatch, and I added a lot of stitches. I added like 10 stitches under each arm. So it does fit. It's just very snug, and I don't know if that's a good look for me or not. And so I think if I wear it for a little while, because there's no there's no buttons. There's a button band, but there's no buttons. I think if I wear it for a while and kind of see, is it something I would wear, or is it just too snug? So we'll see. This is on the may be frogged side, just like the Nurmalin 2. So unless somebody wants that shawl, it may or may not be frogged, just like this one. So yeah, that was something a little bit different. I hope you found it interesting. I'm not sure. But I encourage people to have a look and kind of take your heart out of the fact you spent that time knitting that project, and just be like, but am I actually going to wear it? Because if it's just going to sit in a box for the rest of time, what's the point? Like, if you can't gift it to somebody and you're not going to wear or use it, and it's literally just going to sit in a box, why not give it a new lease of life? Why not rip it back? I completely understand that you've put hours of work into these projects. I get it. Like, I don't even want to estimate how much time went into those projects, but at the end of the day, I'm not wearing them. They're not meeting their potential as garments and as accessories. And I know if I was to redo them, and knit them correctly is not the right word. I did knit them fine. I just had a very warped sense of what size I am. If I was to size down on the ones that need less and size up on the ones that need more, I know for a fact I will wear them and I will enjoy them. And if that means re-knitting all those stitches and frogging all those, well, frogging and then re-knitting, then I think it's worth it at the end of the day. So, just food for thought. If you're at all kind of curious, maybe just have a look at some of the things that you've knit over the last couple of years and just be like, have I ever worn it? Is there something about it I don't like? Can I gift it to somebody? And then if that last question answers no, would you wear it if you were to re-knit it in a different size or in a different yarn? Like, could you reuse the yarn for a completely different project? It doesn't have to be re-knit in the exact same project. Could you re-knit it for somebody else in a different pattern as well? Like, there's just so many options. So I do encourage you to kind of have a wee think. But I do also understand that you want to knit things that you'll never wear. I get it. I've got that as well. I gift a lot of my stuff to people, and it's because I wanted to knit it, but I'm never going to use it. So yeah, that was my stomach. I think I need to go get some lunch, but I hope you have enjoyed this video. I found it really fun to make because it's allowed me to pull out all my knitwear and just be like, when was the last time I used it? Do I enjoy it? Could I gift it to somebody? If I re-knit it, will it make me happier? Those kind of questions. So, until the next video, speak to you soon, stay safe, and enjoy your crafting. Bye! Oh wow, my voice cracked on that one, something awful. Bye!